If you follow me on Instagram, you'll know that we have been in Italy for the past 3 weeks. We arrived back in the US last night and I purchased this there. This is a new Gucci palette as well as the lip. I just made a Chanel purchase and wasn't planning on purchasing much of anything else after that, but we were looking for a luggage drop at the department store, Rinascente, and I saw this on display, so I took a quick glance at it and had to pick it up. I also have the previous version of their palette and I will compare it to this one in case you wanted to see the difference, and we'll see if the formula is any different or if it's the same. And it was smashed in my carry-on on the way home, so I didn't have any lovely packaging except for the box that it came in. And really what struck me was this packaging. It's so beautiful. I liked the previous one, but I think this one is prettier. Here are the two side by side. You can see the floral pattern is different. There's more color on the new palette and the shape looks similar. Both beautiful, but I think, like I said, I prefer the new palette, just the design. It's a little more fresh. So let's go ahead and take a look. Got a plastic covering over the palette. It says this palette is a luxurious, soft textured shadow palette delivering high color from the first stroke, designed for you to express yourself with endless creative combinations. It offers 12 shades in various finishes, including satin, matte, and metallic. The highly pigmented colors are both easy to apply and blend, encased with a gold-trimmed pink case, featuring the house's emblematic Flora pattern. The shadows reveal the creative harmony of colors inspired by Gucci Flora's scented universe. It does say a refill tray will be available soon for this palette. And I did ask if there was a refill available now because I do have the previous palette, like I said. And I was wondering if I could replace that one or just put it in the old case, but I prefer the new case anyway. So if you like the new case, this one, then you may want to pick up the new case. But it does say refills will be available. For the matte shades, we have 02 Bright Coral, a peachy pink, 04 Precious Brown, which is a dark brown, 06 Solar Flare, an ochre shade. Then we have 7 Mauve Jasmine, a light mauve. It looks more like a lavender tone, like a gray lavender. Then we have 09 Sand Shell, a taupe shade, nice and cool. 11 Sweet Hazel, a mid brown, and that looks like a nice soft brown with a little bit of pink in it. We have metallic shades, 01 Fiery Orange, which says it's a copper. Now it looks less copper than other coppers that I've seen. It looks more like a rose gold, but we'll give it a try. Then we've got 05. It's a little bit tricky to tell which is satin and metallic from here, but upon swatch, maybe we'll see a little bit more difference. Then we've got 05 Fantastic Violet, a purple blue, and then a gorgeous turquoise, which it is. It looks really beautiful. I think that's the most exciting color for me here in this palette. Satin shades, we have 03 Silver Sky, Silver Blue, and what I picked up at Chanel actually reminds me a lot of this shade, which is why I picked up my Chanel item, because it was such a unique color. Maybe not the exact size I wanted, but I just loved the color so much and it reminds me a lot of this. And if you would like to see what I picked up from Chanel, I'm putting together my vlog, so you'll get a closer look there. Then we got 08 Magical Amethyst, an aubergine shade. The last satin shade is 12, a delicate blush, a light pink. It is said these last up to 9 hours, are highly pigmented, and crafted to suit all skin tones. You can use them as eyeshadows, eyeliners, and some shades can also be used on face or lips. Maybe for contouring, and then I'm not quite sure if there's a blush color or even a highlight color in there. We can try. It says not suitable in the waterline, so you'll want to keep this one away from your waterline. Oh, and then side by side, let's just take a look. First version and now the Flora version. Side by side, trying to find the best way to show you. But you can see they're quite different. I think the first version has more warm shades versus the second palette, which is cooler, which is what I prefer. So I feel like cooler shades show up better on me than warmer shades. And when I looked at the initial palette, I saw quads like this, 1, 2, 3, which made more sense to me. And then if we look at them like this, I haven't looked at it yet, but if we look at it as 1, 2, 3, you can see there's a little bit more cohesion. Whether they intended that or not, I don't know, but if it's overwhelming for me, I like to look at them in smaller chunks like that to help me kind of put things together. Of course, you can use them however you like, kind of like that Byredo palette that came out. They really encourage you to mix things up. I think you can do that with makeup anyway and make up your own rules. I think there are no rules to makeup, so I think it lends a lot more to creativity to not be locked into quads. But if you're not sure what to do, I think they look pretty in that format. But as I get into this, I'll probably use as many as I can just so we can see kind of what they look like. Okay, let's go ahead and swatch this beautiful palette. Everything swatched really smoothly, felt buttery. It looks like the metallics are not overly metallic. In fact, the difference between the satins and the metallics looks very subtle. So maybe a little bit more intermittent shimmer in the metallics versus the satins. And the satins are very, very soft. So this looks like a soft palette. Again, if you know that Byredo palette, the limited edition one that had the beautiful colors in it, that had very strong metallic finishes. This is a very soft kind of metallic finish. So I'm excited for this because I don't typically wear sparkly, glittery kinds of makeup. So if you're looking for that, this is not glittery at all. I think this might be a good palette for neutral lovers because there are so many neutral tones in here with just a little bit of excitement with the colors and the finishes, but not too much at all. So in addition to the palette, there's a limited edition lip. There was also a new fragrance. I smelled it was beautiful, but I didn't feel like it was something I had to have, but I wanted to pick this up because it looked like a nice warm kind of sheer shade. Oh yes, and this is in shade 208. They met in Argentina. I feel like they had a liquid lip that was this shade. Let me check. So I just checked online. There is the transfer proof matte liquid lipstick also in this shade. Of course, this is the Glow and Care lip color, different formula, but it is also in 208. They met in Argentina. I also see they have another formula in 208. It is the Rouge à Lèvres Matte. So this is not a new shade, but it looks like it's a shade in a different formula compared to what they have. Also, let's look at the packaging. Let me know if you have any other information on this. Also, let me know what you'd like to see compared to the new palette. If there are any palettes in other lines you'd like me to look at, if you know I have it. I have a lot of Chanel, so let me know. But let's take a look at this one. The packaging is gorgeous. Really beautiful packaging on this that looks very similar to the packaging on the palette. So there they are together, gorgeous. And there is the shade. It looks really beautiful. Again, it has a little bit of warmth, it looks like, to it. It's described as a warm rosewood color, which is always good for me, with neutral tones and uplifting notes of pink and coral. So there is a bit of warmth in there with that coral. Looks like it might be something that just enhances your natural lip shade. I really liked the coral tone in this. Because it is more sheer, I think it'll just kind of adjust my natural lip color a little bit more because it tends to be cool even though my skin tone is warm. So I do like to warm up the lip tone a little bit, and I think this will do that really nicely for something nice and simple and easy to use, and one of those lipsticks that's really easy to reapply on the go. I want to swatch these side by side for you. I'm not quite sure the best way. I think I'll put this top row here above the top row of the second palette and the bottom row underneath. So I'll show you how I do this on my arm. Before I show you the swatches, I just wanted to point out, I forgot what happened to this one. It was drier than the other ones. That's why it looks like that. It fell apart. And so I tried to put it back in place, but even swatching it today again, you could see it didn't hold its shape. And then you'll see on the swatch how differently it's swatched than the other ones, that I didn't have that issue with this palette. So let me show you what I noticed on swatch and why I think these are a little bit different in terms of formula. This second and third row, this is the second palette. Everything is very consistent in terms of how it's swatched. Again, swatching and placing on the eyes are two different things, but you kind of get an interesting comparison when you do it like this. So the only one that I'm going to say didn't swatch as evenly as all of the rest of them was this color, the second color. But you can see everything else pretty much swatched very consistently. Let's look at the top row of palette 1 though. I added it up here, and this is that crumbly shade that we saw, and it didn't swatch really well at all. In fact, it was very sheer, and maybe that was their intent, but you could see here, they did swatch differently than palette 2, and I went in the exact same way in terms of swatching. The way I did that, it was very easy on palette 2. Palette 1 though, we had a little bit more inconsistency. Again, palette 1, second row looks like this. You can see the metallic in palette 1, at least this one, is more metallic-y than any of the metallic shades in palette 2. I hope that helps you in case you were considering palette 2. I think we may get better performance out of palette 2. I didn't really use palette 1 as much as I used other palettes. I think palette 2 has more promise for me. Of course, we're gonna do a look here. Let me know again what else you would like to see swatched against any of these shades. And when I film the Get Ready With Me, I'm gonna film that in a little bit here. I've gotta do a little bit of a stress repair on my skin this morning, some treatments on it because it has been weathered throughout travel just because of the airplane air and just all these different elements. I just was on a totally different eating schedule, eating menu, I guess. So again, look for that vlog of my Italy trip in case you're interested. I have 3 weeks of footage. We'll see how long that really ends up being, but I tried to take really short clips just to get a little glimpse of kind of what we were up to. But that is it for today's video, so please take care of each other, stay well. If you enjoyed this video, if you learned something, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you next time for the try on.